Hey everybody, before we start this podcast episode, I wanted to let you know about our Patreon community. Patreon is a great way to support Black with No Cream financially. If you're enjoying these podcast episodes, we invite you to check it out. When you sign up, you get a bunch of amazing perks, such as our live streams that we do every single month, bonus Morning Roast podcast episodes are exclusive, Discord group chat, Q&A with our interview guest, instant access to our How to Charge a Client guide, merch discounts, and all of that, plus a shit ton of other stuff. So if you're interested in that, definitely sign up, jointhehomies.com or patreon.com/blackwindowcream, whatever you prefer. We'll see you there. And we are back with another Black with No Cream podcast. New episode every single Wednesday and Sunday. I'm your host, Ben Haggerty, aka Ben Real First World. And this is David Malave. How you doing, dude?
Are we live?
We're live as a motherfucking red dot on the camera. We're live as a motherfucking red dot on your IG story.
We're red.
We're red. Today is October 22nd. I don't know why I wanted to tell you the date today, but it's a good day to be alive. Me and Dave are here drinking coffee. We just talked about how iced coffee sometimes makes you do more shit than you normally would on a day-to-day task.
Yeah, no, I think iced coffee is kind of like the key to life, you know?
It is. We were both joking about how when you drink iced coffee, you instantly start like texting or calling people you haven't talked to in like 3 years. It's like, I don't know. It just kicks you quicker. Today's episode is, I think we're titling it Finding Your Endurance. And I don't know. I was telling Dave that it's like we have so much shit going on right now. And it's one of those hectic production, I don't know, time frames in my life that seem to reoccur all the time. But it's a lot at one point, and I figured a lot of people deal with this sometimes where you put too much on your plate and you aren't quite sure how to deal with that. So I figured we'd talk a little bit about that and how to find your endurance and be able to handle that shit and sometimes delegate and some other tips. So we'll get into that right after this intro. Welcome to the Morning Roast, a place where you will get the most info from a deep dive into the topics that really need life with your host Ben and Dave, coming to you live today. Grab your cup of joe and take some fucking notes, you bitch. What's wrong with Ben? What's wrong with Ben? Why is he singing like all the time? Everything he says is in song. I don't know, man. Iced coffee.
I think you're in just one of those moods, man.
I'm definitely one.
I think you're singing because you're low-key stressed, and that's why we're talking about this.
That's very true. Yeah, like if you ever hear the Black with No Cream entire intro, instead of just being read, it's just sung to you. You know something's up. I am tired. I'm stressed. Zits are starting to pop out on my face. I realized I showered too quick and didn't shave my face before that, and I hate that because I shave before I shower, and that's always a bummer. And so it's just one of those motherfucking days. Weeks. It's been a month actually. We've just had a lot going on at Black with No Cream, and then all of a sudden just randomly starting to pile production jobs on top of everything that we have going on here, and it's making your boy a little crazy. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
But we've done a lot. I mean, we went to we went to Sacramento, then we went to Portland. All this shit's documented on the YouTube channel if you haven't seen those videos. Portland, Sacramento. We did 3 contests back to back to back. We went to Las Vegas, which we're about to drop that video probably probably sometime this week.
I mean, shit, I don't know.
Thursday, Friday, I don't know. So there's another video that's going to come out that highlights our Vegas trip where we flew in helicopters, drove a $500,000 car all over Vegas, hung out with King Chip the rapper. We did a bunch of shit. Went to Life is Beautiful Festival, saw a great Chance the Rapper performance. Great Post Malone performance. Then I directed this shit for The Sims with Kiernan Shipka. She's like Sabrina the Teenage Witch on Netflix right now. I need to watch that show. I haven't watched the show yet. But I watched the trailer and shit looked way different than I thought it was going to be. Did you ever watch Sabrina when you were...
Yeah, I remember Sabrina. My cousin loved Sabrina, so I would watch it, but I never really watched it.
Yeah, like,
but of course you know what it is.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like that.
Right.
And then I was like, all right, so we're doing this. And then...
It's a spin-off, though. It's not like directly, right? It's what's it called?
It's like The Adventures of Sabrina, something like that.
Yeah. So
it's
like
way more moody.
Right.
Way more moody cinema. It's like super, I guess, Yeah, I don't know. It's by the same people that did that show Riverdale. And I think Riverdale's supposed to be like the dark, like it's like, I don't know how to describe it. I haven't watched it yet, but the trailer I've seen, it's pretty good. But she's really dope. She's young as fuck. She's been acting since she was like 6. She's like 19 or something crazy like that. But she killed it. So we did a bunch of shoots with her, or like a shoot with her, and then created a bunch of like social rollouts for The Sims. They just released I didn't honestly play Sims when I was a kid. Did you play Sims when you were a kid?
Yeah, I told you I played Sims
All the time?
I played a lot of Sims at one point in my life.
But back then it was like you just bought the game and that was the world you played in, right? Now with the ability for them to like do updates on the fly, that's
I think it's like you would buy like Sims 3 and you put it in your computer,
right?
And then that was like the game you played.
So now the way Sims works is like they can update Sims with new worlds. So what we shot content for was a campaign rollout to promote Realm of Magic, which is like just a magical world that you can go into as a sim, and you can be a witch and you can cast spells and do all this shit. And Kiernan is Sabrina, so they collaborate with her, and so we wanted to like create a bunch of assets for that, which was really dope because it was like you, me, we went, Darren and Adam, the interns, they pulled up with us, Kavika, and I had like come up with a couple ideas, and Dave, and then we like went there, and what did we shoot for, like 4 hours? We didn't have much time.
Yeah, it was 4 hours.
4 hours. We got some time to prep, but we had a bunch of different deliverables that we had to accomplish because it wasn't just the Realm of Magic. They also have this universities pack that they just released today while we're recording this episode. They just released this where it's like, now you can go to college. So we also shot stuff with Kiernan about university and her, what she would do if she went to college, all this stuff. So all that stuff's going to continue to roll out, but it's been a ton of assets. It's tons of deliverables. It's me sending it to Kavika, asking Kavika to do certain VFX. Kavika sends it back to me. I give him notes. He sends it back to me. Then I send it to the client. Then the client hits it back to me with notes. And then the client sends it to Kiernan. And Kiernan gives notes. And then, so it's like a lot of back and forth. Like if you see these email chains, it's hilarious because it's just like tons of EA people, me just going back and forth, like 150 messages across like 3 different email. It's a lot. But then on top of that, now developing some content and prepping to go to Miami to shoot some shit for Need for Speed. So there's like 3 shoots technically out of this one goal for that. And so that's coming up. And I go to Iowa Thursday to speak at my university. So I'm speaking there, and if you're listening to this right now, you're welcome to come. If you're from Iowa, please pull up. It's free to the public, I guess. I didn't know that, and I just found out that room's pretty big, even though I went to college there and sat in that room too. I just didn't realize how big it was. Thought it was only like 400 people. I was like, I could speak to 400 people. And then I looked it up, and it's 2,000. And I'm like, damn, if 2,000 people come.
Do you think it's going to be sold out?
I don't know. I mean, those podcasts bang so hard, you never know.
You're going to come out and like...
everyone's just like, I got streamers and CO2 and shit. Just how could you imagine? What if I do that shit and then it's only like 30 people?
You spend your whole rate on like a CO2 package?
Streamers, I'm just like walk out a silly string. I was like
you make a joke and then you just like have confetti.
It's the opening joke. What's up, guys? I just flew in and boy are my arms tired. It's a joke my dad used to say all the time. So anyway, I'm gonna speak at my college, and then I got a workshop that I gotta teach there, and I'm just telling you everything that's going on. Dave's listening. I'm just venting right now.
Yeah, it's venting. This is like therapy right now.
You got a workshop that I have to do right after the keynote, so I gotta speak to a bunch of people for like an hour, and then do like an hour and a half workshop. So I've been building that while now bringing on these shoots. I was supposed to fly to New York to go to a rapper's house. So I can't tell you who it was, but go to this rapper's house potentially tonight. And honestly, it might still happen. It's 3:40 p.m. and I might still get the call that's like, hey, yeah, go to his house in New York. So I'll literally fly to New York, shoot the video, fly right back, then fly to Iowa the next day because I have to get Lauren and the cat.
Lauren and the cat.
Yeah, man. And then maybe go on tour with Q. I don't know. There's a lot of things I'm doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, while I was thinking about it, yesterday, the stress that was happening to me was so heavy that I laid on the ground over there for like 10 minutes. And then at one point, for about 3 hours, I felt like there was this red line that like outlined my face. And then I thought everything in it was red. Like my face felt boiling hot because there were so many things where I'm like, why am I doing all this shit right now? You know what I mean? And I was like, fuck, what do I got to do? So what did I do? Because I feel like that's what this morning roast is for.
That's what we're about to get into. What did you do, Ben?
I went out fucking outside.
Right.
I went outside, got coffee downstairs, and I don't know. I just like stepped away for a second and then just kind of was like, told myself like, what else are you going to do? You already signed up for all this shit, so you got to figure it out anyway.
That's what I feel like. That's first is
Right.
accepting that there's no going back now.
There's no going back.
You're in it.
You
Number
think
two, you
about it.
remember when I texted you? I was like, this is what I do when I'm boiling over. Is like the first thing is you have so many things on your mind. I don't think everyone does this, which is literally, I call it a brain dump. I do it all the time.
A brain what?
Brain dump.
Dump, yes.
It's just a funny word, but it's like you take literally everything on your mind. What are you worried about? What do you have to do? What are you concerned about? Like, what things are you still waiting for? Whatever it is, and literally write everything out on a note sheet or on a notes app or Trello or wherever. And I find that first, like, it's all these thoughts in your head just like boiling up, and you're thinking about 10 things. And when you look at it all on a page in terms of like what you have to do, and then at least it's like containable. You're like, okay, this is, and now you see it, and then it's about like structuring it and creating a plan of attack.
Right. I did. Yeah, you told me that, and I did start doing that. And I it's like when you put your main, I need to do this, and then I need to like,
and there's 10 things under that,
and then tab, and then there's 10 of those, and then those broke off into like 5 things. I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
Right, but you got to do all that. I feel like you still break it all the way down.
Yeah, it does help, I think, to do that. And we do that when we're in here trying to plan for certain things too. It's like, we know we have these sticky notes full of shit that we've had on them for like a year, probably more than a year, of things we want to do for Black Window Cream. But we had to put it on another board because we knew that that's shit that we can only do later once we do the more important things that are here. And so it helps to be able to like divide and conquer, or, kind of prioritize like what's more important or what needs to be done for this to happen quicker or whatever. I don't know. And that makes a lot more sense. And I think it also comes down to me, like, as the shoots are getting closer, or as certain things, like yesterday, it helped a shit ton for me and Dave. When Dave came to the office last night, I had already been in here and I wanted to watch a couple of speeches because I'm like, all right, what do other people do? Like, I just want to see like what the vibe is. Like, I've seen public speaking before. I've seen keynote speakers speak and shit. But I wanted to look at what other people are doing. So I was watching a few and I was getting a couple ideas like, oh, that's cool. That's a good way to like segue from this to this, or skip over this fatty part and not, not talk about that shit. Mm-hmm. And then we sat down and started brainstorming. And then you were like, yo, I think what could be cool is XYZ. And it kind of helped me to be able to not, like, my story, right? So to be able to hear it from someone else, like what is interesting to you of what I could do in a speech, helped me be like, oh yeah, you're right. Duh, I didn't even think about that part. Like, it would make total sense for me to segue into this here and use this as like an entire talking point for 20 minutes in the thing. Right. When I know my story, I know my whole story, and sometimes you forget a lot of shit. You know what I mean? Like,
and I feel like another thing too is like when you're dealing with so much stress, like it's hard to like just handle it all on your own, right? So like having someone to like vent to or like bounce ideas off of, I feel like can like release some of that energy. Because even me, you were locked up here probably like going cuckoo all day, and I pull up and at least you have someone to like, I'm like, yo, what's up? You have all this stuff done, and you get to tell me I'm doing this, blah, 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 and then you get to have someone to like bounce it off of.
Right.
I think another thing too is like yesterday, you have so many things on your plate. I'm here and I'm like, yo, what can I take off your plate? Like, is there anything I can help you with? And then you think, okay, I can delegate this, I can delegate that. And that way it's like, you can kind of like compartmentalize and like, you have like 50 things to do over here, but like for these next 2 hours, I'm gonna focus on these 2 things. Yeah. Which I feel like is the hardest thing when you're like enduring so many projects, is like compartmentalizing. Like, you can't accomplish everything at once. So how can you like put everything on like hold, even though it's like pressing, right? And knock a couple things out and then
go back to
and then take that and put it here,
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And we talked about it before too, about the idea of like the importance of a team and being able to delegate and being willing to let certain things go. And we talk about that all the time. And so in these situations, it's just to reiterate like how important it is to do that, because where you can come in and say, what can I do? And I'm like, please do these 3 things. I need you to do these 3 things and we'll get it done or whatever. And then that sped up the Black Window Cream bullshit, or that helped with what, I don't even know what we worked on last night. But being able to do that, or to be able to text Nico and be like, yo, can you do this real quick and make this handled? Or even the dude, Michael, who I just shout out to that dude, Michael. He's going to shoot in the field episode of the speech thing. But like just him having made a promo for my speaking thing, I don't have time to do that shit. He was able to do it, and I never even asked him about it. He just texted me like, yo, what if I do like this or whatever, and show me a video. I'm like, damn, that's hard. Yeah, I'm gonna post that. I'll post that tomorrow. Like, just it's a cool thing to promote that I'm coming back to my university to speak, which is wild. Having people that are able to see the future, you know what I mean, almost predict, or just like, yo, you probably need this, I'll take care of that for you without asking, or being able to have people you can lean on to be able to like, yo, can you take care of this and this and this? If you don't have that, you will bottleneck your shit, and then your shit will perform at a lower level. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So be able to discover your team, if you want to call it a team, clique, whatever the fuck, your squad. Like having those people, or even if you don't know them, even if it's people you have to pay. Like I remember when we'd work on our documentaries and we'd be like, Shannon started, I mean, go back before even working with Shannon. When I was doing Mary and Chris's doc, I was hand typing out transcripts of the interviews. Every interview we did, it was just like, I was writing it all out. So that way I could do keyword searching and find certain, whatever. And then Shannon was doing it on our Lewis House doc, and she's editing. We're directing, me and Andrew are directing, and we're doing a bunch of other shit. And then she'd be in there and she's handwriting them all again. And then it's like, by that point, technology is advanced, and they have websites where you can literally like submit the audio clip and they'll transcribe that audio for you for like not much money. But it made more sense for us to say like, yo, let's do that. Let's give them the job, hire them to do that so that they can transcribe, so you can focus more on editing right now. Like these 3 hours that you're going to spend typing out 2 interviews is way more crucial for you to be cutting the actual project. So therefore it would cost us only like this much money to, I don't even remember how much it was, but to invest in that. And so being able to have the ability or to spread, because a lot of people look at it, oh, like I got paid like $1,000 for this job. Like, should I give $100 to a transcriber to make, this go by quicker? Fuck yeah. Because then if you now don't have to type that shit up, say that's a realistic thing, $1,000 for a job. You shot an interview or 3 interviews or whatever, and it's going to cost you $100 to get it transcribed. So now you're walking away with $900 before tax. It just saved you. Say it saved you 5 hours of work, because it takes fucking forever to handwrite this bullshit ass thing. But now having the transcribed, you're able to fly by, cut your shit. It's way easier to figure out what you have. You're able to cut things out, put it around. It makes you piece together your story better, blah, 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 blah. But you were able to shave off 5 total hours by spending $100 to get that done. Now you have 5 hours that you can get the job done sooner, or 5 hours that you could spend getting another job that's worth another $1,000. You know what I mean? Right. So you could potentially make money during that time that you saved. And that's like one of the most key things, you know what I mean?
Right.
And like your brain chills.
We've talked about that a bunch, but also I feel like that part has to do with like prioritizing time too. So it's like knowing what's the most impactful thing I can do with this time, because like you could spend like 5 hours like typing out, but that in terms of like the entire project, that might not even get you that far because you haven't finished the edit, right? You haven't finished like this pulling selects or whatever it is, right. You know? And so like, you're like, will I spend 5 hours doing that, or will I get further today on my overall goals if I put that on the back burner for a second and take on this part of the project, and then that'll be on hold, and then I can come back to this.
Right.
I feel like another thing that I was noticing yesterday too, and I was thinking about it when we thought of this topic, is like knowing what's in your control at certain moments and what's out of your control, and using that to like space out your time. For example, you have a speech, yesterday you spent most of the day not preparing for it because you're working on all the other shoots. You had to come up with a bunch of decks, pitches, all this stuff, right? And then, but there's a point where you've created it and you sent it off, and then you no longer can do anything else until you get a response, or until it gets taken up the chain. And so in that moment, you have to like almost coach your brain to be like, okay, that's on hold. Can't worry about that right now because it's out of my hands. Whenever it comes back, I'll deal with it, but that's on hold now. Now I need to shift my brain, stop thinking about that even though it's stressful, and focus on the speech. Right. You know what I mean? And being able to like put your mind in like those gears.
I feel like that's a challenging thing to do. Like to act, and I think a lot of people will ask that question, well, how do you do it? Because it's hard for me to stop thinking. Like if you spent all day editing something and you send it off to a client, you're still thinking of an edit.
Your mind's consumed about it, and you want to watch it over and over again, and you're thinking about little things.
But you could pre-plan and say, oh, do you know what's going to be great? I'm going to spend 7 hours editing this whatever. And when I finish the edit, that's like my finish line for a break. You look at it like that. Like, you might take breaks in between your 7 hours, whatever. But like, when I hit 7 hours, or once I've completed that job, I can take a quick break to switch, and I'm already planning that. It's not like my day's done. You know what I mean? Some people look at like, when I finish this video, my day's done, and it's awesome, and I can go fucking sit outside or smoke weed or do whatever. But you could finish that job and just already know you have to change gears and be mentally prepared to switch, transition. And maybe it's like, yo, I need to switch, but before I do, I'm just gonna watch like a fucking compilation video of people eating shit on a skateboard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just need 10 minutes. Like I did today. Like, I got here and I started working. I had a call this morning with still the sim stuff. Did all that. Then I have a list of things I need to deliver to them, but it's not like super like get it done now. So when I got here, I had to start all the stuff for the Dutch Bros, and I'm like redoing a bunch of After Effects shit. And then I just took a break and figured out that I can fucking play Apex on the PC. And I downloaded it because I just want to see if the Xbox remote could hook up to the shit, and it does. I'm like, oh my god, this is so dope. And I started playing, and as soon as I started the game, I'm like, I'm fucking wasting time. Like, I have so much shit I have to do. But I'm like, nah, like play one game. Like, play for 10 minutes, or however long it takes to play one game. Because like, I needed to chill for a second.
Right.
So I already started off the day, woke up. I knew I couldn't go to the gym this morning because we worked late. So I woke up late. So I skipped the gym again. I already know I'm probably not gonna go to the gym for another like 2 weeks because of this next all this shit I have to do.
Right.
And so I woke up, went straight to a phone, literally showered, phone call for like an hour, ate my breakfast, hauled over here, started working right away. And I'm like, all right, I just need to pause for a second. And that pause literally reset me. I've been working since then. Mm-hmm. But for a moment, I was like telling myself I'm inappropriate for fucking taking a break. And I think you need to all know that that's okay to do. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
You're not in the wrong. Like, I look at it like, I'm playing video games. This is such a waste of time. But that's an avenue for me to literally only think about killing the other Apex Legends or whatever and getting all the loot and shit. And my brain stops. I'm not thinking about things I need to get done. I'm not thinking about my list. I'm not thinking about, I can come back to that as soon as I'm finished.
Right. We talk about this in the episode about creative burnout too.
Right.
It's like you can keep working. For example, I think it's another thing too, going off this topic, is like also knowing when you need to stop and go to bed. You know what I mean? Because like, you have enough work. We have enough work. We could have. I mean, I did stay up till 4 a.m. last night, but like, I don't like. But then today I'm beat in the morning. I came in late. You know what I mean? But like, knowing when it's time to like, to go home and stop. Am I going to be more productive if I keep working, or if I come back, reset, and get here at 8 in the morning or whatever? You know what I mean? Because it's like the same thing with what you were talking about. You can keep going, you can keep working, you can not take a break, but like, if you're having diminishing returns on your like mental energy, then your work's gonna suffer. Yeah. Even though you have a million things to do, you only have so much energy. So it's like, at some point you need to say, okay, I've done enough for today. But obviously it depends on the deadlines and stuff, because sometimes you just have to pull all-nighters, which is fine, but
it also helps. It also helps, I think, like, if you're in the same situation right now, and you're trying to figure out, you're trying to build your brand, your business, or whatever it is, you're trying to just be creative. It's like having those people around you that you can lean on for help, or lean on for assistance, or whatever it may be. Like, asking people to, like, that's why we give up so much time to our homies and everyone that we collaborate with. Like, oh, you need someone? No worries, I'll be there. Like, how many times have I done that shit? 1,000,000 times, just to help out with someone else's need or whatever it is. Or, oh man, I'm struggling to get this fucking thing edited in Photoshop, I can't figure it out. Yo, just send it to me, I'll do it real quick, because I know what to do and I can solve your problem, so you don't have to waste your time doing it. It's not like I need money, I don't need any of that shit, but having that, it's like you're building your community of the people in your inner circle that you all know. It's like a very fair trade to be there for each other and help each other grow, because the bigger picture is way more important. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Kavika, I hit Kavika yesterday. I'm like telling him all the stress of like whatever I got for this Need for Speed shit, and it's like, all right, so here's like a couple of things I already came up with, and he's like, oh cool, like, yo, even if you shoot those, like if you're busy that night, like as soon as you shoot them, send them to me, and you don't even have to edit the raw shit. Like I'll just try to build it the way you'd want it built. You don't even have to worry about it. I'm like, oh yeah, but you don't have to, it's not very VFX heavy. It's like a waste of your time. He's like, no, I don't give a fuck. Like I'll help. Like whatever you need for your, like he knows I'm losing my shit. But by doing so, it's like we're building a better relationship with the company. We're building better content that we can release. We're solving problems by turnaround times being quicker because now I'm elevated by his assistants and that or whatever, or he can sit in it for a little bit and come up with something I didn't even think about with the footage I had. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that shit's so key to have on deck for a fact. If you guys, I'm interested if you're listening right now and you're on at least YouTube, go to YouTube and tell us in the comments like what you do in these situations, because I think everyone's path is different, or everyone deals with it differently. But I feel like we always do this shit where we always have a million things we got to do, and it seems like you can never catch up.
Right.
Like our list it's fucking annoying to me actually, because our list is so long. We are like, just today, I don't know what you said. It was something about the fucking podcast or something, and right away I'm like, I know we need to do that to solve that problem, but we don't have time to do that. You know what I mean? Like right. Our list is too long, and there's always too much other shit that comes in between it, and it's stressful to deal with, and it's just a thing that we have to, like, it is what it is. But what's cool is to know that a lot of that shit can continue to get solved as we grow, as we learn how to build Black Window Cream as a business that could afford to hire people to do certain things that solve those problems, where it's like, oh, we don't have to think about that anymore. We have a person that does that, because it's not just you and me bashing our head against a fucking wall. And like I'm sitting here in the morning like, oh, I gotta do all this stuff. Dave, we need to record a morning roast. We should probably record 2. Fuck. I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna take an hour and a half. You know what I mean? It's like I was stressed out thinking about having to do this shit.
Right.
It's crazy.
I feel like one thing I want to end on with your situation and all this is like, and tell me your opinion on this. You know how the saying goes with confidence comes from repeated action?
Say it again. I tuned out.
Confidence comes from repeated action.
Confidence comes from repeated action.
Right. So like in these moments, right, you're stressed the fuck out to the top.
Right.
But you've been in these like type of weeks before and come out on the other side like with all the jobs you've done in the past. So there's this there's this confidence in your mind on even though it's like super stressful, you know that you're gonna get through it.
Facts.
So it's like that confidence comes from doing it a bunch of times, and that I feel like is something that you always trying to lean on when you're like in those moments of true crisis. You feel like I can't do it. You're like, that it's gonna be shitty. It's just like college and stuff. You have like 6 finals in a week,
right?
And you're like, you're in hell, but you know that you always come out on the other side and you're always fine. And when you think like that can help kind of ease some of the like anxiety or the stress, is like you just stick to the process, do everything you possibly can to prepare for everything you're going to do. And then there's the little bit of instinctual like ability that you have to just pull it off in the moment. Right. You even talk with like Andrew Sandler. He told a story one time in Black Window Cream of like that time on set where he had that music video and the artist was pulling up and nothing was set dressed, and he like basically did it all by himself in a day and like didn't back down, and it turned out amazing. Yeah. But like he's been in those like same day, pull it out of our ass, like make it turn out like with nothing.
Well, because the reality is that if you don't, someone just doesn't like you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it actually isn't the end of the world if it fails. We all tried our best, you know what I mean? But the worst feeling is knowing if I fuck this up, that person won't ever come back to me again to do that again. They'll tell this person, blah, 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 blah. So that's the fuel. That's like what you're literally putting in your engine to be like, all right, that's literally what I got to run off of, is knowing that I got to get away from that ever happening.
Right. And also we all have pride in our name too, you know?
Fuck yeah.
Like, you have pride in like knowing that you're a person that people can count on.
If Andrew didn't do what happened was his art director backed out or something like literally the night before. So the next day, him and a bunch of people grabbed a bunch of shit and redecorated this room on their own. That's not his job, and he did it and got it done because there was no time to get anyone else. There was nothing could be done except for him hands-on figuring it out. Right. And that's off the tip of like I could be a queen and just sit here and be like, no, I don't need it. Like, that's someone else's job, and then you have to like apologize to these people. But no matter what, if you would have fucked that up, then whoever that artist was would, I think it was Diddy's kid or some shit.
Yeah, I was thinking Sean Combs. Right?
Yeah, it was Sean, and like he would tell Diddy, and then Diddy would tell everyone, and then everyone knows that Andrew's not the guy to work with because he can't even fucking set dressing room or whatever.
Right.
And Andrew didn't let that happen. That's the reality, is that's what would happen if it fails. But what I think is cool is that it's like this repetition of like, you've been put in the hot seat so many times that you get really good at being in the hot seat.
Exactly.
I am good at being in the hot seat, and I've been doing it ever since I said yes, and it would be at low-key jobs. Like, it wasn't anything what I'm dealing with. The magnitude of projects I'm dealing with now, it goes back to literally being like, hey, could you shoot, I remember coming here and I had to shoot for this restaurant. Could you shoot our beers? Because we just came out with new beers. I was like, yes. And I remember like, oh, I've never done product photography. I don't have the lights, and I was all this shit. But I'm like trying to figure out what's the best way to shoot natural light, beers, blah, blah, blah. I'm like looking at examples, all this shit, and I figured out, and I made them look great. And it was like, that pressure was so high. That pressure was just as high as the pressure I'm under now. It's just a different curve. So we're always under it, but that's our job, is to say yes to all kinds of shit and see what the fuck comes out of it. But just to try your hardest and figure out how to obtain, the best results with what you're doing. But I also think when you're in it, no one else knows you're worried. Unless now you have a podcast and you're telling all this shit in the middle of dealing with the client. Now Kosi probably knows that I'm stressed out. So Kosi probably knows, if you listen to the podcast, that I'm stressed. But when I talk to him on the phone, he's assured that everything's being handled, that I'm going to murder this shit. Yes, murder it. Like, it couldn't be going any better. But when I get off the phone, I'm like, it couldn't be going any better, because I know all the things I have to do, and I know I can do it. It's just a lot of work. You know what I mean?
Right.
And in those times, it'd be easier to just be like, hey man, I need a day. I just need to chill today. I can't do this shit. Like, I need another week and a half or more money, or this and this and that. And then you just start creating these excuses, and someone's gonna look at you like, fuck this person. Like, I'm never gonna work with this person again. They told me yes, and now they're telling me no.
Right.
You can't do that, and you can't show up and go weak.
Right.
So you do what you got to do.
And that takes us full circle to the first thing we said, which I was like, that there's no going back. Like, you're already, once you say yes, you got to stick to your word. And that's like also,
Yeah.
I feel like it all comes down to like everything we just said, but the methods that we were talked about throughout the episode of like being able to compartmentalize, being able to delegate, being able to like
so key.
Understand what's in your control, what's not. All those things help you like metabolize all the information you need to like handle, so that you actually don't go insane.
Right.
Because like, I feel like in moments you could actually like, you can't sleep because your brain's just running like crazy, and then you wake up, you're immediately stressed. You're not eating, you're drinking mad coffee because you're just like, you can't think.
Well, our microwave actually stopped working today, so we had to buy.
I know, and I'm hungry. Damn.
I know. See, we're not eating, we're just drinking coffee. Let's get to this. Is good. Let's get to the the question of the day, brought to you by Patreon members. If you're a Patreon member, you can ask us a question that we will read and answer on the motherfucking morning roast. And then I got a solid ass review from iTunes that I'll get to in a second. But yo, if you're listening, please listen to me. We have like 176 fucking A1 ass reviews on iTunes. Okay, that shit helps other people discover our podcast. If you're listening to this, please, it would take you 5 seconds. Hop off of whatever you're doing, get on your computer or get on the fucking phone and go to the iTunes app and just go to our podcast, scroll all the way down, click that motherfucking 5-star, and then type out a review. We'll send you stickers in return. We're picking out fire-ass reviews every single week, but let's at least hit 200. You're listening to this. I know you're listening to this shit.
We know we got enough downloads for it to be more.
Yeah, we know there's a lot of you listening and very little of you interacting with our shit. Okay, so please go leave a review, because that shit helps us grow. That's all we ask. Keep enjoying this free ass motherfucking inspirational shit that we do every week. All right, let's get to the question of the day.
Question of the day is
patreon.com/blackwindowcream if you want to get ask a question.
We'll just take this one because we are piggybacking off this question. Of this topic we talked about today. How do you stay motivated when it feels like everything is trying to slow you down? Example, computer crashes, hard drive corruption, money problems. Seems like adversity builds character, but not necessarily a career.
Damn.
Well, I feel like our episode answers that a lot.
100%. So sorry, it's kind of a bum-ass version.
I feel like one thing I might say to this too, and this is just a mindset thing, me and people are different with this. Me, like, I'm a person that's like, I'm never going to be like, why is this happening to me? even when shit's happening to me, it's like I'll be inclined to think like something I'm doing is the reason why the things are happening to me. You know what I mean?
Dog, almost every time I say, of course it's happening to me. Like, right. If it's happening to you and it's gonna, like, and you're gonna do it, that means that you're built to handle that shit.
Right.
Who it's not gonna if it happens to the weak person, the job's not gonna get done. So they're never gonna hire that person to begin with. Right. You're the person that's gonna, oh my God, my computer's crashing. Guess what? 4 miles away, Apple Store. Go buy one, return that motherfucker 2 days from now, get the job done. That's
another thing I think is a valuable type of like mental framework is like, not only when all these things are happening to you and you're like, why? And then you sit there and you're like, why is this all happening to me? Like, and you break down, it's like, no, I have 4 problems. What are 4 solutions? Like immediately,
That's why engineers are so sick.
Exactly, because they're always thinking like analytical based. They're not. It's like, okay, this happened because X, Y, Z. The solutions to X, Y, Z are A, B, C. You know what I mean? This is the way to get there. And
just like, think like a motherfucking Amazon person. Shout out to Zach though.
Shout out to Zach though.
All right, I want to read the fucking thing. This iTunes review is by Make Yours Known. Listening to Black Window Cream is like having oh no, this is an old one. Sorry. I copied the wrong one. Damn. Joke's on me, man. My bad.
Joke's on me, man.
Where did I put it?
We can just go read it.
Oh, yeah. I guess I can just do what I asked you guys to do is just go there and check it out. While I'm looking this up, I appreciate anyone that does leave a review on our channel.
Another thing is we have another in the field coming out very soon. We're very excited for it. It's going to be fucking awesome.
Tell them about it.
So we have another In the Field episode with Daniil Lewis. He's Chainsmokers photographer. And we had our boy Nikos go out there and film behind the scenes of him shooting their arena tour show at United Center where the Chicago Bulls play, pretty sure. And he killed it. It's fucking sick. United Center, excuse me. And he took us through his day, how he prepares for these shows, especially in these big venues, how he plans out like his shots so he can get these massive production shots, and he shows us behind the scenes of their tour team and all this shit, and it's really dope. I'm really excited for it. So
we're gonna keep doing more of these. 2020 is gonna be, we really want to tackle these and make them each time better and better, but Nico set a bar on this one, so yeah, get ready for that one.
And so if you're waiting for that and you're listening to this today, make sure you go check out our In the Field with Levi Turner on our YouTube channel, and also we did a music video breakdown with Cal Shapiro's music video. He was on the podcast that Kavika did and Michael Bryan did. So go check this out.
All right. So this review comes from Mark Dabu from Vegas. He says, what separates Black Window Cream from the rest of the podcasting groups they are geared towards the creative business industry is that Ben and Dave not only share their experiences from working in the field, but they bring on guests whose knowledge and experience is just as valuable in their own right. And these guys have a shot for Beyonce and Jay-Z. Yes, true. Whether you are on an iPhone shooting your way up or on the set with a red, you will always find a diamond to take away information. I feel like I read this once before.
No, I haven't heard that one before.
All right, cool.
Actually, I don't know. But regardless, it's a fire.
Regardless, that's fire. Trust me, these guys are the real deal. We appreciate that, Mark. Shoot us a DM on Instagram.
We'll see if we actually did.
Send us your address and everything. We'll send you stickers unless we've already done that. Someone else can just tell us that it's them and we'll send it to them. Appreciate it. Thank you guys. Make sure to leave a review. We really appreciate that shit. Subscribe, do all that, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Share this shit out with all of your friends that you think are creative junkies and need to hear stuff like this because we're trying to grow it up. All right, bye.